Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out RV Daydream, and today's one of those landmark days for us. It happens once a year, and it always happens about this time. What is it?
Taking the cover off.
Yeah, we're going to take the cover off the RV, so let's go outside and talk about the weather and things to come.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream. So everybody's out and about, they're doing things. It's 50 degrees today, which is okay, and we wanted to get this cover off because it's dry. It's been so dry. Our dew points are like 14, and it's been like that for quite some time. The cover looks like it'll last another winter. It's slowly getting more. For you guys that want to know, I tore this when I tried to pull ice that was built up in this area off. The RV kind of did this on its own because I have it too tight, and apparently I didn't protect it well enough. But as far as the cover and overall, you know, the condition on the top, everything's okay. So it's doing pretty good. What we're doing is we were straightening out the house, and we have stuff that needs to go into the RV. And instead of me just opening these door access and climbing through, I figured I would go ahead and take the whole thing off, and Heidi says she would help. It's funny because without paying attention to the calendar date, I was looking at the weather and the pattern that we're in and how the weather is supposed to be relatively decent for these next few days. And I figured that, you know, maybe it's time to take the cover off. So just out of curiosity, I went ahead and looked at my old videos, and the last year, I decided to take the cover off, again, not paying attention to anything but the weather pattern, on March 18th or 19th. And the year prior to that, we did a video, and when we took the cover off, and guess what? It was like March 17th or 18th. And within 4 days of deciding that the weather looked pretty promising and that the cover probably could come off, I'm doing it again this year. It just is a coincidence that the last 3 years we've done it about this time. So we'll go ahead and unbuckle everything and take this off and see what it looks like. Well, that wasn't so bad. We got to go ahead and put it back in the box that's in the basement. It always comes off a lot easier than it goes on, obviously. Okay, so I want to talk about something that you guys probably don't experience if you're RVers, but if you're homeowners, this is cranky old man time. This is the kind of crap that I just can't stand. If you live in the Northeast, if you live in an area that there's actually a winter season, your house is all closed up. It's all boxed up, and whenever it becomes springtime, as Heidi, we just kind of, you know, freshen everything up, clean everything up. And one of those things is to let the fresh air in, to let that winter staleness out of the house and circulate in nice, fresh air. So part of this time of year, a lot of people open their windows. In the winter, when it's cold and it's dry out and there's no chance of, you know, annoying anybody, it's the best time to burn. It's the best time to burn your brush pile. It's the best time to burn your leaves for the winter. We always have neighbors that wait until it's really nice weather out, and then they just start burning for no apparent reason. And in this case, they actually have come over to our neighbors, and they're taking their brush pile so they can burn it. And sure enough, we can't open our windows today just because they decided to burn. So here's the tip. If you guys have brush piles, if you have old leaves from the winter, stuff like that, you burn it during the winter when everybody's house is all closed up.
Get rid of your burning barrel.
Yeah, get rid of the burning barrels. Forget that too.
That's so 1970s.
Yeah, that stuff don't even really work that well. And half the people don't use them correctly. But the whole thing is that they had all winter to do it, when it wouldn't annoy anybody and be an issue with anybody. But here it is nice weather when everybody wants to open their windows, and they're like, oh, hey, let's get outside and burn crap. Yeah.
Burn their stink.
Yeah. All right, so one of the things that you may want to be aware of Whenever you order stuff from Camping World, at least in this part of the country, I'm not sure what the deal is. In this day and age of fast delivery, it's not acceptable for 1.5 weeks for you to get a catalog from Camping World. I ordered this. It's a Good Sam's 2018 Savings Guide, and they had a sale on it. They were promoting it. I mean, that's why I bought it, because they said, hey, do you want to get the new guide? It's, you know, brand new, it's fresh, it just came out, and a 1.5 weeks later. Now, I think I'm spoiled because I've done Amazon Prime for so long. I mean, many, many years now. We've been Prime members back when the charge was only like $40, and now I think it's up to $100. But they need to step up their game. I mean, 1.5 weeks, that took longer than it should have. Just to give you guys a heads up, this is the second time I've ordered something from Camping World online. The other thing that I ordered, which I can't recall right now, it was a sale item. Again, it was like 2 weeks for that. It just seems odd that they have all these Camping World stores all over the place, and they don't have any way to satellite mail or ship that stuff in. Just take it in mind. If you're ordering something online from Camping World, it may take a little while. If you guys have some sort of other experience with ordering online with these guys, let me know. Put it down in the comments, because I'd like to hear it. So the camper looks pretty decent. I haven't seen anything necessarily that stands out that is an issue. It's dirty, of course, so that it's going to take some toll on it. But as far as it making it through winter, it did okay. I'll probably have to repack the bearings this year, because last year I just looked at them. You can tell how much water and how the ground has heaved up and down a few times, because that is definitely sunk in the ground. That is deep in the ground there. I don't even know if... Yeah, it doesn't really support the RV there anymore. Maybe I'll have to put a couple turns to it. But yeah, the RV's a little bit dirty, and it needs washed. Ooh, lots of bugs back here. I was thinking about hiring a guy to come out, and I can cut the bumper off, and then I was going to have him weld an extension on this. I talked to Heidi about it, and we're still mixed feelings. Even though I did put these bumper supports on, I would like something that's more solid, that I can mount a good rack back there. But the thing that I'm kind of waiting for is to check out my tongue weight, get this thing leveled out better. I'm going to check my tongue weight, and at that point start making modifications inside, and seeing how those modifications change the tongue weight. I remember somebody in the chat, I can't remember who it was, I think it was Jay Super maybe, that was talking about the increased tongue weight whenever I move my water tank and stuff like that, which it shouldn't be a big deal. So what I'll do is, whenever we get past a winterization point, I'll fill my freshwater tank in there, the way it currently sits, and check my tongue weight, and then I will move it, you know, drain it of course, and then move it, refill it again after the modifications have been done inside, and then see what the tongue weight is again. The other thing that I was thinking about at that point is measuring the tongue weight, and then calculating in an extra 120 pounds or so for a generator in a box. I'd also be subtracting though some of the weight positioned all the way out here, and we might be putting those tanks in a compartment that gets cut out here, a slide in or something like that, to store the propane tanks. So there's some calculations to be done for sure. And again, somebody also mentioned, I know that they make a real nice generator mount that mounts to the two parts of the back A, going back to the trailer frame, and then supports itself up front here too, and mounts a generator up high, mounts a generator up in this area. The problem is, you know, that's definitely not only the weight of the generator and the generator box, because I wouldn't want my generator just up in the air that way without it being protected. And I'm sure I could put a cover on it or something and remove the cover when it's time to use it, but for security reasons, I'd like to have a box. Plus, you got to calculate in the frame itself that would be bolting on there, and then nothing else has been repositioned. I mean, that's just all extra weight on the tongue. Now, if you're to add weight on a trailer, I mean, the tongue is the way to go for the most part. If you want to make an error with a little bit more tongue weight than weight on the back. You don't want something overloaded on the back of an RV, that's for sure, or a trailer in general. The other thing is, I don't know if you guys can tell from this shot, but the axle is, back. The tandem axles here, or the dual axles, they are back from the front of the RV, but not as much as some of the new ones. I would almost say that this axle here is probably in the middle of the RV. It's pretty close as far as from front to rear. It's still slightly back. I would have to think the middle of the RV is probably about right here, but still, these new ones, you have a lot up front before you see the axle. So as far as a balancing act, I got to be a little bit more careful there. I know some of the newer ones that are longer and the axles are further back, you could get away with adding 500 pounds on a rack on the back without an issue, but in this case that would make this that'd be a pivot point. The other thing that I alluded to, which I'll walk around and we'll talk about it, is me changing. Oh, I forgot to have my tire covers on there. Me changing, let's go back to the front, the link between the springs and adding a more ride system in here to where I remove this wishbone here and replace it with a more high-tech one that's rubber, that gives you a little bit better ride, and it adds 1.5 inches in height. So basically I would be another 1.5 inches from the tire to the wheel well. I think I might do that because I have to replace the bushings on here anyways. I need to replace all these bushings that are inside here. So if I'm going to have those off, I might as well go ahead and replace it with something decent. I think it'll work out pretty good, and it'll be a project I can bring you guys along with. Ooh, I don't know what this is. Yeah, looks like I don't know what it looks like. It looks like a splatter or something. I don't know how that could have happened, but something else we'll have to clean. So let's step inside the RV. Oh my, so nice, so nice. Yeah, Heidi talked about just putting a dinette over here and being done with it. Make a dinette here and then make this table bigger. That would work. I mean, we could do that. It wouldn't be too much of an issue to do. It would give us some more storage right here. Even though we lost storage here, I could accommodate, with the bench part of it. I might actually be able to make storage to where it was access from the outside. But again, I kind of like to have those propane tanks kind of back there. I don't know. But it smells clean in here. Everything looks really good. I don't have any kind of droppings or anything going on. I'm so happy that we're on the tail end of winter. I forgot my filter for this, darn it. And looks like that I threw this stuff around too. We're definitely going to be in a good position here to remodel this, make it a little nicer. Heidi has ideas to how she wants to paint these, but then again, she doesn't. She changes her mind, quite honestly, a lot. The other thing is, when we remodel, again, I think that's the direction we're going. You're going to see a good project going on here, even though there's not a lot involved. I know that there's mixed thoughts on this, but we're not a big fan of these big double sinks. We would just like to have a small sink, and if it's divided, with a small one and then a slightly larger one, that's fine, or just one big basin, that's fine too. The other thing is Heidi and I talked it over and over and over again, and we do not need this oven. We just don't need an oven. We've never used this oven, but to make pizza once, it worked out really well. We have a pizza stone in there that we use to help disperse the heat. That's worked out really well. As far as it cooking and everything, it does a good job. There's nothing wrong with this stove, the stovetop or the oven. But I can remove this. I can remove the whole countertop. We can get rid of the sink, everything. And we can put in a new countertop and put in a smaller sink that will give us more counter space, and make a cooktop, stovetop only, that would give us storage underneath. I can put, you know, make a shelf in here, and actually, once this is removed, make it to where there's a place for more storage. So not only would we get more counter space, and we would get more storage space. So that's almost a positive there. Plus, Heidi's been wanting to do a backsplash for a long time. And again, that's kind of the direction we need to go. And as far as painting in here, who knows? There's a lot of painting to be done if she wants to do it. I always like this floral pattern on the walls, but this is just kind of like a vinyl wallpaper. You can see where it's wrinkled up around the edges of things, where they were rushing to make it or to get it together. The other thing I need to do is get some LEDs to replace these regular bulbs that are in here. I like the color of these bulbs. It gives you a complete different mood. I forgot how to turn it on. There we go. It gives you a different mood in here other than the bright daylight. It makes it feel more warm, as far as, you know, when I say feel warm, it's just your thoughts on being psychologically warm. But yeah, it's doable. All this stuff is doable. So maybe I'll just have to do it. I mean, not a big deal. So we got some stuff that we wanted to do today, but I wanted to tell you guys, we are out, we are about, and we are getting some stuff done. It's just slowly becoming spring. We was hoping for something big. You know, like one day it's just summer. That doesn't happen here very often. It happened one year that I can remember. So that's going to be it, guys. I'm going to go inside and finish out the chores that I have going on inside. I do have to check the power steering fluid on the truck because it was making a little bit of a whine noise. But we're in good shape, and I'm hoping that we might be able to go do some camping a little bit earlier than expected. We'll see. As always, guys, I hope to see you out there. Bye.